All right, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Open Live Q&A. This is week number 119. My name is Mr. McLogan, and thank you so much guys for joining me on this live stream. I know the end of the year is starting to come through, and I started thinking about some videos and some things that I wanted to kind of get ready for you guys as we kind of wrap up this as another school year. So thank you so much, guys, again for joining in. And again, if you guys do have questions for tonight, there was a lot of word problems that came through that submitted. So I'm not going to be able to get to those word problems. Accidentally, I did delete one person's, and I can't remember. It was something about revenue and cost function. So if you are on and you want to resubmit, then go ahead. If you have a question that's going on in your class, then feel free to go ahead and submit it at brianmclogan.com/Q&A. Obviously, you have the link in there. It's also in the description. I believe I still pinned that. Yeah, it's also pinned in the live chat as well as in the description. And then one thing I did want to let you guys know of. So for those of you that are on, if you want to, so I'm going to be doing like some review sessions as well as some review problems for different courses. And so if you have any like reviews that you are kind of working on, then go ahead and feel free to submit them at brianmclogan.com. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll go and put in a different thing. But right now, if you want to go and put them in at brianmclogan.com/Q&A, then I can kind of work off of that. But I'm just kind of looking for some different material to kind of review, because unfortunately, like being a teacher, I've always taught from, I either created my own material or it was kind of material I've been using for like years and years, and like once you kind of get used to, like, you just refine it a little bit from year to year, and that was really about it. So I'm definitely interested to kind of update some of my stuff, and also just go through like some different, teachers review for like a video, right? And if I can just like spend a live stream just going over, different classes, like reviews, I think that would be maybe something very beneficial for you guys. So I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me if you think that would be helpful, kind of like going through your review and whatever you guys submit to me, and then just, having that for you guys to kind of review on. Usually reviews, you have an answer key, something that, follow along, but I think it's also helpful to, have somebody explain the problems that you need help with. So if you do have a review, let's see, we're coming into April. Yeah. So if you do have a review that your teacher's already given out, then feel free to go ahead and submit it to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. Link is up there, and I will, I'll kind of see what I might be able to do. Otherwise, I do have questions that you guys, that I will be getting that will be submitted. So we'll probably get to those in like 15 minutes. So if you do have any questions, anything you're working on in your homework, or if you have a test or a quiz coming up, then feel free to submit those. Or if you have not already joined in on the Discord, then feel free guys to go ahead and check that out, because I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's questions tonight, nor each and every week, but I do go live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. So therefore you can always kind of rely on me going live, because I mean, it's week 119. I mean, I think that's pretty consistent, at least up to this point. So, so go ahead and submit those. But I'm not going to be able to get to questions, during the week. I get literally every day asked how to do a problem. So go ahead and take advantage of the Discord server out there for you guys. And I think it's a great, amazing community, and amazing fact that we have people you can rely on, people there to kind of help you with your math and answer your questions. All right. Hey, Arav, how do you? Good to have you on. Let's go and get to some of the questions. Actually, I did a video on that before, for like a long time ago. But that was like around it. I wouldn't really say I know the math. So far my math's so far my day's been pretty good. I'm pretty tired though, for right now. So when you have kids over the weekend, it just gets to be long days. How do you know how to find x in a function, or like what place in x to get your answer for a function equation? I'm not really sure what you fully mean, Callie. How do you know how to find x in a function, or like what place in x to get the answer? I'm not really sure. Maybe if you can give me an example or submit an example, then I'll be happy to kind of get through it. Special said, hi, Mr. William, what do you think about me doing summer classes of pre-calculus and statistics, since I'll be in AP stats next year and pre-calc honors? Yeah, I mean, summer classes are, I think, going to be helpful to prepare you if you're not trying to just take those courses exclusively over summer. if you were doing that, that would be a lot. And I would definitely make sure that you are talking with your parents, your counselor, and those math teachers to make sure that something you can happen. If you're doing if you're doing those college classes, oh yeah, I guess you are. It's AP stats next school. And yeah, I mean, it really just kind of depends on, I just speak to your teachers. I mean, they're going to know you best. And if you are capable of handling that, that is, quite a bit over the summer. So you want to make sure that you're not doing a lot of travel or, going to be putting a lot of hours in a job or anything else that's, because yeah, taking summer classes for any of you that have taken it, especially like in a math or a science, it's a lot of work, right? So whenever you have those condensed courses, it's a lot. Let's see. Oh, Timon, I'm so sorry. How successful has your channel been recently? How successful has your channel been recently? Well, I guess it depends on how you define successful. So, I've never really looked at the, I don't know if I'm not always been concerned as far as subscribers, or views and stuff like that. It's my main thing is I want to put out the most amount of content to be able to help the most amount of students. And like, that's basically my main mission, is to continue producing content. And I just enjoy teaching. I enjoy making videos and producing that. So, while now stepping out of the classroom, I do have a little bit of a thing. I want to make sure that I am, creating content that's going to help students, like guide them on a learning journey. I don't know, as far as defining that as successful, I think that still can be an ambiguous kind of term for that. I do not know, Henry. I do not know, because that sign of 45 would be in the unit circle. So it's never had to be able to do something like that. Okay. Why is that not? Oh, there you go. Let me try to see. I think I got that. Hold on a second. Okay. Good question. Crazy Alex. How far in advance exams do you start studying? I would probably, I would definitely start like at least a good, 30 days at minimum, to start studying. And, I think anything before that, you just, you don't have to do it as rigid, but, that's why I'm kind of starting to do like, hey, I'm going to start doing, getting you guys some like study guides and stuff like that, kind of working through, because my goal and my mission is like, if you can start doing that, the reason why I did like the 30-day challenge in March, right, was so for students to start learning how to do math every single day. That's what I want you to kind of get like used to as we start preparing for your courses, right? You got to think like when you're studying, you're going to take a math test. That's a ton of information that you have to remember, a ton of information. So the best thing to do to like be able to retain all of that content is to start going, you got to go back through it. Well, you can't do all that information the night or the week before the test, right? You might be able to cram in some of it, but a lot of it is your brain's just not going to be able to absorb it. So the best thing you can do is like start early, start doing little snippets, right? Every single day, start going back, reviewing some homeworks, reviewing the problems, reviewing your notes, right? So therefore, when it comes time to like that, maybe like 2 weeks ahead of your test or like the week ahead, you're still doing some like harder studying, it's a little bit more direct, but you've already done all of this build up to help prepare you for the test. So I would definitely recommend probably somewhere around 30 days. You don't want to be too far out where you're going to start forgetting it or you're going to lose interest in like the studying process, because I would definitely say from 30 days, like you should try to be doing something like every day or at least every other day, even if it's like for 15 or 20 minutes, right? But trying to do something to like keep on refreshing your brain of the content, I think is really important. Is arithmetic secret achievement in pre-calculus course or algebra 1? Funny thing, I've taught it in algebra 1, algebra 2, and pre-calculus. So, typically for a lot of those, they just, it can be covered in all those courses. Just depends on the complexity of what types of problems. Thank you. Oh, thanks for teaching me your majority of my theory. Well, you're very welcome through your videos because I don't really go to do good early in the mornings. I can't pay attention. Yeah, I totally agree. I wake up early in the morning and it takes me probably like a good like 30 minutes before I'm even awake. Even when I was a teacher, I remember like first period, I would still even like I drive, wake up, drive all the way there, and I'd still be kind of like not 100% there. Just kind of like in that fog. Well, you are very welcome. Itarva? That's a, not sure if I got anywhere close to that. I don't know. I mean, that's a very, very broad, or can go in definitely a lot of different directions. What's the most difficult subject in math? I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to have that. Let's try to get caught up. Oh. I hate the Indian education system. We have way too much in our syllabus and it's difficult. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand from there. I'm not familiar though with it at all, but I can definitely say that. These are all awesome videos you made over the years. They've helped me. Well, you are very welcome, Nishat. Happy to be able to help you out. I started my channel in August 2010. Yes, I know. That was my goal, to be able to get to 2 million subs. I got to put in the work. I gotta create better videos and keep on working at it. So hopefully get it forward. The week has been good. I've been trying to create some more videos. I've really been in a funk. It's really been difficult creating videos, that have like some editing to them, that are not just like me teaching inside the classroom. It's been really difficult. It's like I'm a brand new YouTuber. It really is. So I'm trying to get that rhythm and kind of get that focus. And I want to do some more math, and branch out from like content that I've already done. But I also want to improve about some of the content I've done, like from the classroom. Like, of course, there's great videos, but then of course there's like videos that definitely need to be improved upon, or the instruction needs to be improved, or the explanation, or the problem. So, I'm kind of in this weird thing where it's like I have so much content, right? But there's also videos or content that I want to improve, and then videos and content that I want to make. So it's kind of this weird hit right there. Yeah, but it's not something I've done in any long time, so I'd have to go back and review. It's not something I'd be able to do on a live stream tonight. But just a reminder, guys, if you do have questions, I got 3 more came through. If you do have questions, you guys can go to brianglory.com/Q&A. I don't remember, but I mean, usually there's like some probability, and then a little bit of probability and a little bit of statistics. Like, actually, I don't even remember. It's been a couple years since I even taught it back from there. Nope, I only taught high school. No math goal. Most contributors know math cool to be. Yeah, I mean, I worked construction for 8 years of my life, and there's definitely like some like arithmetic and like some basic math that was very beneficial for certain workers to know how to do, right? And I think it put them definitely an advantage if they had a mathematical at least mind or understanding compared to other workers. And obviously, like for certain measurements and stuff like that, they had to do calculations, but it was nothing crazy that you wouldn't learn up to a certain level. But I think the understanding of certain mathematical concepts did show from one worker to the other. Well, awesome, Henry. Keep it going. Gabriel, just kind of hard to say that. So if you shoot that over to Brian McLogan Q&A, and I will be happy to go ahead and take a look at that. Trying to get caught up. I barely got any sleep in my teaching years. I used to go to bed at like 11:30. This was before I had kids. So I go to bed at 11:30, and then I would wake up literally, what time did I usually wake up? Usually wake up around, school started at 5. So I usually wake up around 5:50, and then I'd be out the door at like 6:20. And then I usually got to my school like around 6:40, 6:50, and then school started at 7:15. And then obviously that would fluctuate, right? Now I wake up at 4:30 and I go to bed much earlier because I have kids and kids exhaust me. And the only time I can be quiet in my household and do work is not at night. It's now in the mornings. Yeah, I mean, I guess do the work. I don't know. I don't really know anything about high school accounting. No, I'm, I do not have a lot of experience with the statistics, or at least teaching it. So probably won't be much help for you. Ooh, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, try to do them separately. Like, really try to. That's a lot for your brain, right? Or at least for me, if I was a student taking that. So I would, try to maybe take those breaks. Like, actually, I do remember in college, like when I had multiple math classes, like you can't go from studying one class and then like, oh, now I'm going to do the other class. Like, you got to have some kind of break in between. Your brain's just going to like explode. It's so much math. So unless you like really enjoy that or you are prepared for it, like I would definitely make sure that you have another class that's maybe easier that you can kind of study in between them or like do them on different days. But you got to separate those. If you're going to try to like, oh, I'm going to do 4 hours of doing math homework, like that's crazy, right? That's a lot. Well, shoot me a picture on Instagram and let me know or DM me. That's awesome. I don't really mean or any share with you, but I just think that's a really cool. Merch win. Well, I sell merch. I gotta go and update my merch. It's one of my things I was supposed to be doing this year, which just let it. Do you think public schools could offer almost every single? Yeah, I think they should. I think that's the problem right now is we have the access. We have the ability to do that, right? Where students could take every single math course available to them online, right? If their school doesn't offer it, but we still kind of have this controlling arm of holding over on the education. And yeah, I don't know. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how that's going to develop. Usually 10th, 11th, and 12th grade kind of go. I mean, I've taught everything from on there. 10th, 11th, to 12th graders were in the pre-calculus course. I have no idea. I'm not familiar with UK. Well, awesome, Jojo. I'm so happy to be able to help you out. Jared, submit it down to Q&A. I'll be happy to go ahead and take a look at that. Intersection. But yeah, you definitely want to, I would definitely set those equal to each other and then solve for x. You'd want to multiply by everything by 15, but I can give you that, or you can just shoot it in and I'll be happy to look at it. Yeah, I'm aware of Jason Kidd. Phoenix Suns? I think he played for the Phoenix Suns for maybe a little bit, but yeah, thank you. Hey man, if you want to talk if you want to do this live stream, I will. I did something on like the 3 myths. That was a recent video that kind of talked about the education system. I think, what? One thing I just kind of touched on, which is, a really good thing. What do you think the biggest flaws of the educational system? Wait, where's all my pieces? Oh, there it is. I'm going to write that down because I'll probably want to like expand on this. But I think the biggest flaw in the educational system at the moment is too much control. And what I mean from that is I think there's too much like of a fight of, there's too much of a fight of what students need to be taught, how they need to be taught, where, like when they're being taught. And obviously I think a lot of that comes in with money and politics have like bled into the educational system. And yeah, I don't think it's really serving the students or our society at large when a lot of decisions are being made based on those factors. And I think one of the hardest things as being a teacher is when decisions are being made not for the best interest, right? And we know that, for like, I think the number one thing that we need inside the classroom is highly effective, quality, passionate teachers. Like unequivocally, that's the number one thing. Absolutely number one thing is we need good classroom teachers. And I think the fact of the reason, not so much like me, but like when teachers like enter the profession and leave within 3 to 5 years, right? And they blame like, you know, the working environments and everything like that. Like there's a problem going on. Like, you know, when teachers are being told and controlled on how to teach, what to teach, or, you know, and everything else, or there's not like they've lost all that trust, or there's so much pressure too also on what the students, like how the students have to perform, you know, and, you know, there's so much pressure on what grades the students need to be getting. And I'm not saying even for like that's the teacher's fault, like even for the students and for the parents, like there's so much pressure on what, you know, for like scholarships, whatever, there's a lot of money that's on the line. And so, you know, rightfully so, like if you're not getting grades or if you're not getting a certain understanding, you know, like there's a lot at stake. And I think a lot of that has really, really hurt. And I wouldn't go as far as say ruined education, but it's not putting us on a great trajectory. And I think that is one of our biggest kind of flaws is this, this idea of like trying to control every aspect of it, where I think a little bit when looking into the, you know, there's a lot actually. I need to think about a little bit more before I just like rant, because that's not something I've like fully thought differently on, but I wrote it down because I do want to make a video on that and kind of get a little bit more analysis. But I definitely think that would be something along the lines of what I'd be saying. Yeah, I would, but I just kind of enjoy teaching like whatever I want to teach online. So that's kind of the nice thing about at least not being in the classroom. You know, like I can just kind of teach what I want to teach, and I can do what, you know, that was my problem. Like in high school, one of the reasons why I stepped away from the classroom was like, I taught everything that our school offered. Right. And I was like, I just kind of, you know, after 14 years, I was just kind of done. You know, I mean, there was nothing else that really excited me to be able to teach. The only thing I would have wanted to do would have been calculus. But again, like we only had like, even if I did calculus, there was only like one class that I could have taught, maybe if, you know, 2 classes, but then I still would have had to teach the other one. I just like kind of lost a lot of passion and excitement for those other courses. And not because they're like, I mean, it was just the, you know, just doing things for so long or long enough, like it just kind of gets to that point, I guess. We very well welcome Jackson. Brad struggle with finding the limits, trigonometric functions, especially the identities. Probably not as far as on limit. I mean, if you can, I mean, feel free to shoot more, but I'm going to start doing some calculus questions just because I'm going to start doing some calculus problems. Just because I got to get myself back into the calculus realm, get myself, up in practice. Because yeah, like when you're not doing anything, it's like my instruction is not on point, and that's one thing I want to make sure I have. Yes, that's okay. Do what you got to do. Just make sure you do your best. Yes, run. It's just like you guys taking a test, right? And that's a hard thing for me too. Is like there's so many things I want to do on my channel. So many things. It's so hard for me to upload only once a month or once a week or twice a week. Because I could pump out videos. Actually, I mean, I still kind of do like on TikTok. I mean, I make like 5 videos a day. I don't upload them all right now because I'm trying to build up a little thing. But like, I mean, I create content. I could easily, if I didn't have the edit, I would easily just make a math video and then just post it up there. Like I have absolutely no problem doing that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's, you know, but it's very difficult. I want to kind of improve some videos and get some things more connected and stuff like that. So that's where I'm kind of adjusting and kind of seeing all that, where that takes me. I love motivational quotes. I just am really bad at remembering them. So I don't have any off the top of my head. You know, it's kind of like jokes. Like I love jokes, but I can't remember any like funny jokes that like somebody told me to tell a joke. So what I would, you know, I would just search up, you know, one thing I do have is at least in my classroom, actually, I put them all in the ceiling tiles. And I had quotes, inspirational quotes, right? And cause I used to like search them up and I would just, you know, wrote them all down. And it was and it was like just great. Like whenever you kind of feel down or whatever, there was always an inspirational quote like for every kind of situation. The only one that actually just immediately came to my head is if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right, which is from Henry Ford, which I think is a really good one. You know, it kind of gives you a little bit of that mindset. You know, there's you got to have that positive thinking, and you got to keep on, you know, like all roads are not straight, like are not linear, right? Nor exponential. So they're kind of like the sine curve. They're going to go up and down. You're going to have, you know, good days, bad days, good grades, bad grades, you know, it's like, and that's okay. Just keep on going with it. But they're a little bit not like sine because they do have some incline. Yes, I went to Western Michigan University. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, I don't have a, oh, well, you're very welcome, Jake. Do you think accountability of teachers should be enforced highly or only like good teachers teach? Well, I mean, if how you're teaching, how you're holding the teachers accountable is just a very subjective issue. And I think one of the problems with, so there's two problems. Is one, I think there's been so much pressure on our educational system that it's kind of gotten pushed on teachers, like for students to get the right grades, like, you know, like, hey, I need all A's, or I need, you know, I got to get the honor roll, I got to get this scholarship, or I'm going into this university. So there's like a ton of pressure for really, you know, getting good grades. And it's not really about the learning. It's just about getting the grades to move on to the next level, right? And all that pressure is being pushed on the teachers. And so I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to the teachers, because now basically their decisions or how they, you know, how they are going to be, you know, applying things has a lot of like like some real serious consequences. And, you know, and that's, I don't think many people get into the teaching profession, you know, being like, oh, I want to fail this kid because I don't want him going to a university. Right. And, you know, it's like, or I want to fail him so he can't go to this university. He has to go to like the community college. Like, I mean, it's crazy, but it's like real. Like, I mean, there's so much pressure on, you know, students, but I don't think anybody gets into teaching to have that kind of power, nor do teachers really want that power. At least for me, I can only, I guess, only speak for myself. It's like, I just want to teach. I just want to encourage and motivate students and stuff like that. And yeah, it was very difficult a lot of times when I had to like make tough decisions as a teacher and like really be firm with my decisions. You know, a lot of students were like, they did not take that well. You know, they had to go home and try to explain things to their parents, right? And their parents would be upset with me, right? Kicking, you know, getting out of my class because if I wasn't going to bend in like a decision, but it wasn't a decision of me trying to hurt or harm a student, you know, with their future. You know, it was me kind of just standing up for some principles that I felt was, you know, kind of right. But I think it's hard to have teachers in that position of their decisions or, you know, things they're doing to have that much of a consequence on a student's education and future. And I think the other thing is, you know, that, yeah, I think we need a little bit more ability. Like, you know, I know there's people that, you know, teachers just kind of go with it, right? They're just there, you know, and that was kind of like my last year when I had, and that's why I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't be one of those teachers that just like shows up, you know, here's the work, you know, here's what you guys are doing. I'm not going to grade anything. You know, it's like, I'll just, you know, basically get your grades. Like I wasn't that bad, but I was very unmotivated that last year and I just could not, I knew I was like, this is it. Like I can't, I've lost the passion that I know that my students deserve. Right. And I can't fake it. You know, you can only fake it for so long, right? Before students really start to get in, like Mr. McLogan, he's not caring, he's not grading enough work. You know, it's like, he's not putting in the time to prepare his lessons. And, so that's when that was definitely one of my times where I knew it was time to step away. But but I think as far as that, like, I mean, there's other teachers that are just like, hey, I'm going to collect my paycheck. And, you know, they show up and they're not really quality teachers, right? Which I think is kind of one of the points you're making. And I think students need options like, hey, like, you know, we have technology advances where it's like, if you can watch if I can offer a course or another teacher in the next district offers the course, the online teaching or whatever else, like that should be available to you, right? I mean, it should not be you're stuck in with this teacher in this classroom because that's the way things have always been done. I think that's got to change. Man, you're getting me on just get me on that. Do you think Calvi? But that was good. I like that. Accountability of teachers. I just like writing some of these down because it gives me some ideas. Okay. All right, now I got a lot. Got to catch up. Hey, Addie, good to have you on. Oh, you're very well. You're very all right. I know you got a lot going on, but I'm so happy to have you on. Yes. Also just want to let you guys know that if again, so one of the things I will be doing in the next couple weeks, if you guys so I'm going to start doing some like reviews of just really anything anybody like submits. I'm happy to just kind of go over review because a lot of my reviews that I've done up to this point have been kind of like my own ones I've created or just ones I've like used and maybe just adjusted from year to year. So I'm probably going to do like some maybe some problems on here. So if you have any review you're going through on your class that you want me to do like multiple examples on, I might be pulling some like algebra 1 or calculus or pre-calculus, like just focusing on like those school subjects and just doing some like review sessions on YouTube. So if you do have a review that you're working through and you have exams coming up, then shoot them over to me at the BrianMcLogan.Q&A. And yeah, I'll be more than happy to see what I can do for you. Okay. Congratulations, Maddie Nance, for graduating this year. And I'm so happy my videos have been to help you out. Good job, Maddie. There you go. I already got to that. Man. All right. Yeah, I think it's tough, man. We're all going to there's a lot of people that learn from other teachers, right? Better than other teachers, right? I mean, that's just how it is. All right, I got to get caught myself up. Please upgrade trick videos. Good idea. I'm going to get back into some of that. Hey, Melinda, good to have you on. So happy. It's been a long time since we've chatted. Going through calculus. Well, awesome, right? Happy to be able to help you out. All right. Let me go and see some of these. So again, guys, if you do have questions, feel free to just go ahead and submit them up to there. Let's go and see if we have any more. 5 more questions. All right, that's cool. Now I'll see if you guys gave me any like word problems, because otherwise I'm not be able to get to that. Why can't I get, there we go. This is the one you deleted. Maybe. Yes. All right. Haha. Rayanne? Haha. Yes, I was going to do your problem. Congratulations. It's a word problem, and I never want to do word problems, but I was really low on them. And so I was like, I think I can do your problem. So congratulations. I will work through your problem. And thank you so much for showing back up. Oh, come on. But there we go. All right. Yeah. Here's one actually I don't use, but I've been trying to use because I struggle with time management as well. So here's a tip that I'd recommend doing. Like take your phone or, even if you have like an online calendar or whatever, but like, so, when you're planning or when you're doing things, like just go ahead and do your alarm and just set in your time for like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. And then have all those times in. So therefore let's say I have like 2 hours, right? I'm like, all right, 4 to 6, I'm going to be studying. Okay. Like those are 30-minute intervals, right? You already have them programmed in your phone. So then rather than like setting a timer for 20 minutes, blah, blah, you just be like, all right, from this to this 30, like turn on that alarm. Like I am going to do this. And then from this time to that time, like I'm going to do that. Right. So it's just easily something that it's already programmed. All you literally need to do is just hit the toggle in your phone or, whatever device you're using, because it's already been like set in there. You just turn it on, turn it off. So Yeah, I totally get you. I've been exactly the same way. I feel like I've been more busy since leaving the classroom than I was like when I was teaching. I don't know. It's just been kind of crazy. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to get to your other question. Your other question was actually, I didn't really understand exactly what you need or what the problem was even needing for on that. What's the most difficult subject? No. Any more math questions? Can you help with this quadratic graphing? Yug, you sent a question in quadratic graphing, but there's many different ways we can talk about quadratic graphing. So if you have something in particular, go ahead and post it in chat. Let me know, and I'll try to maybe elaborate maybe something a little bit more on that. So this student didn't post on there, but it says, give me advice on what to do when you're behind in math class. I'm homeschooled and school is almost over, but I'm very behind. Help. Whew. I think you got to like understand that, you know, you're behind, right? And so I'll give you a piece of advice that that maybe might be able to help you out. So if you miss a class, you have to make up that class. If you miss the content, you have to be able to make up that content. So what I'm trying to get at too is a lot of students will like, oh, I missed class, like, you know, or like I missed a week of school, like cool, or I'm gonna miss tomorrow because it's my birthday, and it's like cool, like, but it's like you got to understand, like when you miss, like especially a class you're struggling in, or you are like when you miss one of those classes, you have to make up that material, you have to make up that time. There's really not a way to like skip over it and just like, oh, I'm just not going to learn this, you know, like it's not so much everything builds on itself, but like if it's not building, it's like connected, right? So it's like you're creating these holes of misinformation. And again, like that's not saying like things are going to take a while for you to understand them, like that's fine, but like you have to make up the time that you are if you miss, right? So what I would recommend is like you got to understand if you're trying to get yourself caught up, right? There's probably just not enough time for you to during your normal schedule for you to be able to do that. So you have to be able to find some extra time late at night, early in the morning, on the weekends, but schedule some extra time. Cancel some other things you may be doing to really kind of focus on getting yourself caught up, because you have to you're at this point where you have to, you know, you have to juggle like what you're currently learning and trying to stay on pace with that, right? And then also catching up on some of the stuff maybe you missed or maybe the stuff you didn't understand, right? But you got to constantly be doing that. So you got to take some time from somewhere. I don't know where it is, but you have to find some extra time to get it help, because if you're just going to continue trying doing what you're doing and then trying to do a little extra, like it's just not going to be enough. Hopefully that was helpful. All right. And let's see if we got one more question. I have a question about a math class called coordinate algebra. I don't know if you've heard of that subject, because no, and I'm pretty confused on because it's not algebra 1 nor algebra 2. Flatter, if you want to shoot me over maybe like your study guide or some of your work, like as an attachment, then I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. But yeah, I've never heard of coordinate algebra, or at least as a course. As far as what would that be? So all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into some of the math. No. All right, let's get into the math and we'll get to it. Yeah, we only got a couple, so that's cool. All right, get these over. Okay, so this one, the student was just asking just to be able to like find the derivative from there. So in this case, basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply the quotient rule on this one. So if I wanted to be able to find the derivative of y prime, basically you're just gonna do d over derivative with respect to oh, that's x actually. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. D over dx of, so you're gonna take the derivative of the numerator, so negative x plus 3, and that's gonna be multiplied times the denominator, which is going to be a 2x squared plus 5. And that's going to be minus. Now you're going to take your numerator, so that's going to be a negative x plus 3, and then times the derivative of your denominator, And that's going to be all over your denominator squared. All right, so let's go and take the derivative of, with respect to x, of negative x plus 3. Well, that's just going to be a negative 1 times a 2x squared plus 5. And then here, we are going to distribute this. Actually, let's go ahead and simplify this. So what I'm going to do here is, let's do that will be a negative x plus 3, right? And then the derivative here is going to be a 4x. Okay, so now I can just go ahead and distribute. That's going to be negative just times this, this whole quantity, so we can distribute that. So that's going to be all over a 2x quantity squared plus 5. All right, so I can distribute this one, and I can distribute that. You don't want to distribute to the 4x because that's separated by multiplication. So you could distribute the 4x and then distribute the negative, whatever you want to do. We're also going to distribute this kind of at the same time, hopefully not to be too confusing. So therefore, this becomes a negative 2x squared minus a 5. This becomes a positive 4x. Hopefully I'm not running out of time. And then this is going to be a negative 3, so it's a minus 12. And that's going to be all over a 2x squared plus 5 quantity squared. And therefore, we can simplify this to a negative 2x squared. Let's see, I can subtract those, plus 4x minus 17 over a 2x squared plus 5 quantity squared. The next one says, determine if the function is invertible. So I'm not sure if the student was asking for like x squared plus square root of x, or like the y squared, like, but this has too many variables to be able to graph. Like if you have a function notation, like y is not defined, right? We have x is going to be the input variable, fx represents the output variable. So this is what they typed in, but this is not this is not a function because it doesn't have, it has more than there's basically 2 input values and 1 output. But in this example, so if I just, maybe they typed it wrong. So this is x squared plus square root of x. A couple ways, like you want to make sure that it's going to be 1-to-1. Basically, it has to be able to pass what we call the horizontal line test. Okay. And yeah, so here's like if you have the x-axis, here's the y-axis, you can see that this crosses a horizontal line twice, right? So that is not an example of a function that is invertible. Like this would be like a quadratic. So a couple things I'd recognize here is the square root of x is only going to be all positive numbers. Like if I look at this domain, the domain is going to be all positive numbers. And then the other thing that's going to be going on is this x squared is going to keep on getting larger and larger and larger. So even though I can't combine these, because even though they have the same bases, they don't have different, they have different powers. So I can't combine them. But if I just look at like the behavior of what's going on in this function, this is going to be all positive numbers. Now this is going to look like that, right? But again, you're going to have to follow like this domain restriction. So when you actually look at the graph, it kind of looks something like that, which will pass the horizontal line test. So therefore, this is invertible. This one, all right, let's go and take a look at this question. So this question says, did I have? Yeah, I do have. The cost per hour of running an assembly line in a manufacturing plant is a function of the number of items produced per hour. So the cost per hour of running an assembly line in manufacturing plant is a function of the number of items per hour produced per hour. The cost function is C of x, where C of x is the cost per hour in thousands of dollars, and x is the number of items produced per hour. Determine the most economic production level. So obviously, production level is going to be something where it looks like we are producing where the cost is going to be economical. Production level. I'm assuming that's going to be where the cost, where the cost is going to be the lowest, right? So you're still producing. So a couple things I noticed about this is going to be a positive, right? So my leading coefficient is positive. I don't know what this graph looks like, but I do know the shape of the graph, which is going to look like this, right? So if we are on a XY axis, right? So X, so this is going to be what we call the C of X, which is going to be the cost, right? And this is going to be the X axis. So economical, we want to see like when it's going to be the lowest, like what's the lowest cost? So we got to be able to find this vertex. So there's a couple different ways we could do that. I'll actually do the non-calculator way because, well, I'm still going to use my calculator, but I'm not going to like use the graphing method because you can just plug it into Desmos, or if you have a graphing calculator, plug it in from there. But let's go ahead and find the the axis of symmetry. So if you remember the axis of symmetry, which I will call H, that's going to be opposite of B divided by 2 times A. So this is in the form of ax squared plus abx plus c, right? So that's going to be opposite of B, so it's going to be a 1.2 divided by 2 times A, which is a 0.3. So that's going to be what, 8.6, so that's just going to be 2, right? Just want to make sure I'm not being like an idiot. Yep. Cool. Just want to make sure. So that's going to be your H. So H is equal to 2. And then to be able to find your the y coordinate, right? So let me fix that. So then you're going to plug in that value, and that's going to give you vertex. So H equals 2 is going to be your axis of symmetry. Then plug that in to be able to find your find the x coordinate, or I'm sorry, the y coordinate, or the c of x coordinate. So therefore I have 0.3 times 2 quantity squared minus a 1.2 times 2 plus 2. All right, now I will type this into my calculator and see what that gives me. Times 2. And that gives me a 0.8, which I think based on these numbers makes sense. Let me just actually make sure that yeah, times 3. Yep, and then plus 2. Yep, that's going to be 0.8. Cool. So therefore, c of x is going to equal 0.8. You can, John, but usually a lot of times it's very difficult for me to like be able to write them down, and also I don't be able to get to all the questions that are in the chat. So that's why I recommend that you guys, if you do have questions, go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A, which you guys can go to right there. But let me go and see what other question. Oh, you guys can't see it. Haha. Well, awesome, David. And again, just a reminder, guys, I am going to be doing some different math finals. So if you guys do have any final reviews or anything else you guys want to send over to me, I am more than happy to go back and like do some study review sessions with you guys. So I'm going to try to do that based on what you guys submit. So right now, the brianmclogan.com/Q&A works perfectly. If you have any reviews or any work that you want to kind of go over, rather than just like submitting an individual question, what I would like to do is, you know, just kind of go over like a whole review, and just, I think that'd be something pretty fun and pretty cool to work on with you guys. I'm going crazy. I'm learning exponential equations. And I'm looking at the story. Yeah, I can see it. It can definitely go from in there. Pretty crazy. All right, guys. Well, I am just going to call it a night for this, but I will be back next week. And hopefully you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, cheers.